When are we gonna understand that it's all the same thing? Lots of stuff is really bad and it all comes from the same place.
Bro! What? I have ended up on a side of TikTok that I think I am not woke enough for, if this is where we're going. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate you. I don't know about y'all, but I just took some Tylenol because I had a headache and I'm feeling great. Anyway, hello, welcome to the video. It's so cozy outside. It's raining. It's raining in Colorado. I am so excited. I love when it rains. It's like a crisp 54 degrees outside. The sun is not out and it's raining. And I love the sun that we get in Colorado. Do not get me wrong, but I love when it rains. I love it, especially when it's fall time. So we're in beanie mode. We're also in beanie mode because my hair is greasy. So yeah, but today we're just gonna be doing a good old-fashioned TikTok reaction because I saw one the other day and I didn't finish it, but I started it and I was like, holy crap. I'm saying crap because I'm only a minute into the video. I need to talk about this one, buddy. So we're doing that today. And yeah, so grab a snack, grab some water or whatever beverage you prefer, and let's get into it. But before we get into today's video, I want to thank today's video sponsor, Wild Grain. Wild Grain is the first Bake from Frozen subscription box for things like sourdough breads, artisanal pastries, and fresh pastas. Wild Grain partners with small bakers and pasta makers from around the country to keep the tradition of artisanal and nutritious foods alive. Wild Grain products are shipped frozen directly to your door. They offer 3 different types of boxes so everyone can get what they need. I got the classic box because I don't have any dietary restrictions. They also offer a plant-based box and a gluten-free box. I was so excited to get my Wild Grain box this month. It's fall, baby, and that means that pumpkin spice and apple treats are back, and Wild Grain did not disappoint, okay? In my box this month, I received apple cider donuts, butternut squash and cheese ravioli, which I'm probably gonna make for dinner tonight, maple Belgian waffles, pumpkin cinnamon biscuits, slow fermented olive oil ciabatta bread, which sounds phenomenal, their usual croissants, which are also very good, and I also got a sourdough harvest loaf, which I don't have B-roll of because I made it for some friends that I had over recently, but it was very good. And it was a sourdough loaf, but it had things like pecans, cranberries, apricots, and candied ginger in it, and oh my god, it was so good. And as someone who's only cooking and baking for one, I love how these all come frozen, so like I can make a cookie or like a biscuit if I'm craving one instead of having to commit to an entire batch. So if you want to give Wild Grain a try for yourself, check out the link below in my description and use code MEGANANNE, that's code MEGANANNE, and you will get $30 off your first box plus free croissants for life. You heard that correctly. Free croissants for life, okay? I love Wild Grain. I love working with them. I love their products. And so thank you so much to Wild Grain for sponsoring today's video and for being a recurring friend of the channel. And as always, thanks so much to you guys for continuing to interact with my content and showing support to the brands so that brands like Wild Grain want to keep working with me. Okay, now let's get back into the video.
In my last video, I was talking about the way in which internalized fat phobia can often get projected onto the fat community by former fat folks. People who have chosen to pursue intentional weight loss. And Jen is correct in saying that some of the most fat phobic people, some of the people that are worst at unpacking their fat phobia, are former fat people. Now, I understand why that happens. Doesn't make it okay. It's not acceptable. And I think the reason why they think it's acceptable to contribute towards the harm of a community they were once a part of is because they didn't realize there was a community to begin with. And listen, I grew up in a fat body and I felt very alone. I did not have a community. I did not know that I could have everything I wanted in life whilst also being fat. Losing weight was always the number one priority above everything else. But this is why I make the videos I make. It's why I speak up. Because I want to be the voice and the person that I wish I'd had when I was in my teens and in my 20s and even in my early 30s. I wish I'd had someone who I could speak to about my fat body. Someone who would listen and would support me rather than judging me or doing what the rest of society did, which is telling me that I should lose weight. And I would rather make content that encourages people to shine brightly in whatever body they're in right now, rather than trying to dim other people's lights so that I can shine brighter. Because that is what you're doing when you are fatphobic. You weren't told that you could shine brightly in a fat body. And I get it. And it sucks. But it wasn't our fault. And that's why we do what we do.
Okay, so this one, I've talked about this creator like a few times in reaction videos now, because I think some of their points are very strange and contradictory. And in this one, I understand to a point, right? Especially growing up in like the early 2000s or before. I was the only really fat friend in my friend group. And so I didn't really have a lot of people to commiserate over that experience with. But I think for me, with my friends, like I was able to just step back out of like me being fat, right? And just realize that we were all like young girls just like figuring shit out, and that like everybody had their own thing to be insecure about. And I think that's so much more important in friendships. I think there's something to be said about having friends that are in similar situations as you. Like for me, having queer friends is really important. I really don't care about having fat friends personally. Having queer friends is really important. Having like neurodivergent friends is really important to me. And like the person I'm like kind of dating right now, it has a chronic illness, and like being able to like spew at them about how sucky it can be living with a chronic illness and having them understand it is like so nice. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that like the reason, and in this person's eyes, I'm probably fat phobic, right? Because a lot of the content that I make, and I've had weight loss surgery. I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I don't think that me being critical of fat acceptance comes from me not having a community of fat people, because I was in that community online, and that community online has been around for a very long time. And I think that's where a lot of people go to commiserate over their fat experiences, which is a valid thing, because people are treated poorly in society for being fat sometimes. I think that's a valid experience to want to be able to commiserate with your friends over. But I just think it's weird to say like in a blanket statement, like, oh, people who are the most fat phobic are former fat people because they didn't know that the community existed. Like, I'm pretty sure we knew the community existed. And like now that we're not fat anymore, or we've gotten healthier in whatever way that means to us, we see how problematic those communities can be. And are a lot of the time, like I do with fat acceptance, and things like that. And so, yeah, I think finding community is really important, but I also think it's really important not to create an echo chamber for yourself either. And I think that's what a lot of fat activists do, is they create an echo chamber, and it really, prevents any kind of critical thinking of the community. And I think that's how we've got where we've gotten today. But I understand why we're there, but it's just like saying that former fat people are like the most fat phobic because we didn't think there was a community is just silly. Because I think anybody in our age group, this person looks to be around the same age as me, maybe a little bit older. Like, we've had the internet, those communities exist. We know those communities exist, but like, it's really important to not create an echo chamber as well. I don't know if that commentary made sense with this TikTok, but I just want to talk about that. Okay, on to the next one.
It's gonna hurt some of y'all's feelings and you're not gonna like it, okay? Fat people are the coolest, funniest, fucking smartest, most creative people I've ever known. All my best friends are fat. All my favorite artists are fat. All the smartest thinkers I know are fat. I don't fucking like being around thin people, really, to be honest with y'all. No offense. I got some thin friends. I like y'all. But being around fat people, there's really nothing like it, really. And people are obsessed with hating fat people because they hate themselves, because they're so loyal to capitalism. They hate people that don't look like them. Those of us that are happy, funny, stylish, having a good time on this fucking planet, they really can't deal with it. They lose it. Like the people in these comments. I've never faced more vitriol when I talk about being fat. It's fine with me. It doesn't bother me because I'm happy.
Okay. So I've also talked about this creator a few times in reaction videos as well. And I just want to say, first of all, I think it's funny that they're like, I've never received more vitriol than when I talk about being fat. As if it's because they're talking about being fat. I don't know. But like, personally, I think it's the way they talk about being fat, because like, whenever I talk about people who maybe are like jealous of me or what, I never like using that terminology. Like, I never like writing off someone's attitude towards me or criticism of me as them just being jealous, even when it could be true, right? Because to me, that just feels like such a self-serving, arrogant way to deal with a conflict of some kind. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? I think it lacks so much like introspection and like critical thinking skills of myself. And sometimes it just is true. Okay. I'm not saying that, but I think a lot of the time there's like a middle ground there, and it's not just all them being jealous of you. I think this person always talks about fat people as if they are like so above anybody else in society. And I think that's so strange. We've gone from fat activism, just wanting fat people to have like equal treatment in society, equal rights and all of that, to now they're like putting themselves on a pedestal above everybody else. And I also really think it's funny when they bring up like capitalism and stuff like that, because like, to be fat 9 times out of 10, and this is just science, you gotta eat, bestie. You know what I mean? Like, you have to eat, and like, you have to buy food. And is buying food not also being a slave to capitalism? Like, I don't really think that's that hot of a take. I don't think so. Also, how rude to be like, I don't like being around thin people. I have some thin friends and I like y'all, but like, if I was this person's friend, I'd be like, are you joking? Like, what does that mean? Like, it's just crazy to me how not self-aware some of these creators can be and how they talk about things and the things that they say. Because it's like, just take a look at what you're saying and how you're saying it, and then maybe think that's why people are vitriolic towards you, you know? I don't know. I've seen this conversation a lot too of like fat people being like the most creative people, the most stylish people, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think it's just fat people, personally. I think maybe fat people are the most creative and stylish and things because we've had to like figure out our own personal style when so few clothes were like readily available to us growing up. Like, for me, I get complimented on I know I look very basic right now, but I get complimented on like outfits that I wear into the office and stuff because my style is kind of unique, and people always ask like, how did I find that? And like, for me, it was just growing up fat in a small town where like the only places I had to shop really were like the women's sections in like Kohl's and JCPenney and things like that. And I never was able to really participate in a lot of trends growing up, especially as like a teenager and in high school, because the stores that were trendy, quote unquote, like didn't go up to my size. And so I just had to create my own sense of style. So I can understand that out of necessity, but for the amount of fat people I've seen being creative and stylish and whatever, I've also seen just as many thin people being creative and stylish and all of that. The same goes with smart people, right? I think bringing body size into that conversation around creativity and intelligence and all of that is just so unnecessary. Like, I don't know. And yeah, like I said, to me, it just feels like we've gone from a place of fat people just wanting to be treated the same as like our thin counterparts to now activists are like trying to make and it's been happening for a while. I've just been seeing it more and more now that like now fat activists are like trying to make themselves not just equal but better than anybody else. And I don't think that's necessary either. Because I just don't think that needs to be done on any side of like the body size spectrum. you know. On to the last one. This is going to be the final one because this is the one that I need to talk about, dude. I need to talk about it because it is crazy. The text on the screen, it says on Ozempic and G-side. So genocide. I'm going to have to like censor this because YouTube hates that word right now for obvious reasons. Anyway. Okay.
When are we going to understand that it's all the same thing? I had somebody comment on my video the other day saying that Ozempic and these weight loss drugs are trying to exterminate fat people. They want to get rid of us. And somebody commented and said, "How dare you use the same language about this that is used about what's happening in the Middle East?"
Yeah.
It's all the same thing.
Oh my God.
And that isn't to obviously discount what's happening. It's really bad. Lots of stuff is really bad and it all comes from the same place. It's all white supremacy. It's all heteronormativity and capitalism. It's all the same thing. Fat phobia is racism. Racism is classism. Classism is racism.
I agree with that.
The modern world has been created is with capital and control as its guiding principles. So when they're trying to whittle down every single fat person, they're so excited that they found a drug that makes it so we don't exist anymore. And again, not to devalue any of these things. I consider them all very important. If tomorrow they released a drug that said, okay, we cured blackness. If you just take this pill, you can be white. And then the problem will be fixed. The blackness wasn't the problem. The problem was the system that ever made anyone think they needed to be anything other than what they are. It's radical acceptance versus stringent rules. And the only way that you get to live a good life of comfort and privilege is if you submit to us and you change who you are. The genetics you were given aren't good enough. It's all the same thing. I don't like to get like preachy on the internet, or like I try not to have this like smug affect that so many influencers do. And so I hope this doesn't come off that way, but I just want people to understand like the intersectionality of this is all one big problem with the same roots and problems. And the system of oppression, the interwoven systems of oppression, they want us to believe that they're different things. We can't build a coalition to do something about it. And it feels like now is an important time to get straight on that. Yes?
Oh, no, stop. Bro, what? Oh my God. Woo! I only saw like the first like 3 seconds, or not 3 seconds, that's a lie. I only saw like the first maybe like 10 or 20 seconds of that, and I was like, I saw the caption on the screen and I was like, oh buddy, I gotta talk about this. I was like, I have ended up on a side of TikTok that I think I am not woke enough for if this is where we're going. And I'm pretty fucking left, okay? Okay, so this has been deleted. The creator deleted it, thank God. This is like the final boss of like one of the main problems that I've had with fat activism for years now, is that like the predominantly white creators in this space like take issues happening to people of color and like make it their issue or use it to like bolster their argument when like it doesn't do the same thing. Calling Ozempic and like the accessibility to other GLP-1 drugs the same as what is happening in Palestine right now is fucking crazy work, dog. First of all, they're not the same thing, okay? But even if we were having this argument, the thing with Ozempic and other GLP-1s is you choose to take them. You do not have to take them. What's happening right now in the world, people are not choosing to have done to them, okay? All right, okay. Me and Honey Bison are like mutuals on Instagram. She reposted a post from Fat Girl Flow on her Instagram story about they're like selling shirts as a fundraiser called like Fatties for Palestine, and like she made a point of like, how gross is this that like these people have like been able to eat themselves to like being a fatty, right? I'm all for any kind of mutual aid, right? So I'm not going to look into it that much, but like people are being starved or withholding baby formula. Like it's crazy. And so it's like, how gross is it that like Fatties for Palestine is a thing? And I was like, wow, I've never really thought about it that way. This Ozempic, trying to compare Ozempic, fucking insane. Hi, editing Megan here, and I'm so sorry. I was watching this while it was uploading, and it was like literally more than 3/4 of the way uploaded. And I was watching it back, and I realized I forgot to make the point that the other key difference here is when you are on GLP-1s or Ozempic or whatever, you're still alive. Yep, you're still alive and like free to make your own choices, and you're gonna be alive even after you come off the meds and all of that. You're still fucking alive. So like, I don't know how I forgot to talk about that, but like, wow. The more I think about this, the more stupid it is. And I'm sure I'm forgetting even more key points, so like feel free to. Also, the government's not like shoving this down your throat. Anyway, I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of stuff. So like feel free to add to the conversation below. But this just felt way too integral to not add an edit in. Okay, bye, thank you. I understand like the equivalency between like classism and racism and all of that, for sure. But again, she does the thing where she compares fat phobia to racism, and it's just not the same. Especially, and here's, I feel like I've said that on my channel a lot, right? Here's the thing that I don't know if I've ever really like articulated well enough on my channel. If a fat Black woman comes up to me and it tells me that she has experienced fat phobia in her life, and it was because she was Black, which I agree, intersectionality is a thing, I'm never gonna be like, actually, no. Like, I'm not gonna do that as a white woman. And so, like, my issue with the majority of fat activists on TikTok and everything is that they bring up racism, they talk about racism and fat phobia, and they are white as snow. Like, and so it's like not their issue to talk about. Do I think that we should use our privilege to talk about the like injustices and inequalities in the world against people of color and Black people? Absolutely. But like, when you start trying to make that struggle, equate that struggle to your own as a white person, that's where I draw the line. I hope that makes sense. And like, that's what's always rubbed me the wrong way. And so like, for me, as a fat person, saying that the creation and accessibility of weight loss drugs is equivalent to everything that is going on in Palestine right now, that is taking their issue and like making it your own, which like we all should be worried about it. We should be more than worried about it. We should be outraged about it because it's despicable. It's abhorrent. Taking it and making it your struggle too, that's not, The big thing here though is choice, right? And I have like nothing else to say. Like, It's just crazy. I saw this and I was like, I had some people send it to me on TikTok and I was like, whoa, baby, this is nuts. Because also, GLP-1s help people for more things than just being fat. Like, they're prescribed for more things than just being fat, and they've helped so many people who aren't even fat with treat other conditions. So they're ultimately there to like help us, right? And do I think that they're being pushed in a way that is unhealthy to a lot of people? Sure. And I understand, I get that. But like ultimately they're there to like help people. And like Jenna is not there to help people. That's it. Like, I don't know what else to say. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. I wanted to end on that one because holy shit. Let me know what you think down below. Leave some like autumnal emojis down below. Halloween, leaves, whatever, ghosts, whatever you feel like, because baby, it is fall outside. Thank you so much to Wild Grain for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate you all so much. And if you made it this far, especially so. And yeah, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, drink your water, take your meds if you need them, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.